We play and call it work.
Hey everyone, Steve here from MiniWarGaming.com to bring you an Astra Militarum review, and I have Owen here from Gaming with the Cooler, a place where you can see a lot of gaming videos, 40K and Astra Militarum in particular you can find over there. So you can find some games right now on his channel, Gaming with the Cooler is just what it's called on YouTube. I'm a regular guest there, but we're also, the two of us have done another Astra Militarum battle report that's up right now in the MiniWarGaming vault, where you can see me play my Iron Warriors against 2,000 points of a mixed regiment of Astra Militarum. And there you go, there's the first thing. We have actual regiments in this book. So we're gonna go over everything that we find in this book, what we like, what we don't like. I don't think there's anything I don't like.
Yeah, there's nothing like egregious.
Yeah, it's okay, so I think, my opinion is, so far, this is the most solid book, most solid codex, solidist, is that English? Solidist codex in edition so far.
Solid's not a really good description. Consistent.
Consistent?
Capable.
I don't
reliable.
think I like you changing my adjectives.
Intrinsic. I don't know.
Solider. It's solider. So it's a pretty solid book. If you played Astra Militarum and if you know that they're a pretty decent army right now, in this book, we finally get the regiments and lots of stratagems.
Yeah, lots of pretty okay stratagems. Like 3 of them.
Pretty okay?
I mean, they're good.
There are a couple of pretty good ones, but it's the regiments I find quite interesting. Now, if you follow my battle reports from like 7th edition, for example, there was a period where I tried to play Astra Militarum for just regular old battle reports, and I just couldn't get behind it. I just found them very boring, flavorless, and with this book, it brings a lot of it back. So, or
well,
back.
You're just not very creative. That
there is that, and Owen is a. You should know this if you're going to watch his channel. He's a very belligerent person. Nothing makes him happy.
That's
and
true.
He never smiles.
That's true. But mostly nothing makes me happy.
Can you
like
give them
you wore
one?
A plaid shirt today.
I always wear plaid. This is the fat guy uniform.
These guys are stealing my jam. wore red plaid shirts for 6 years.
Always wearing plaid before I made plaid popular.
Wearing plaid before the hipsters did.
That's right.
They copied me.
They copied me. So, most of all, not a whole lot of point changes throughout this book.
Right, we're talking about guards.
Astra Militarum, guard stuff. Imperial Guard, for some people who don't want to call them Astra Militarum. You got your tactical objectives, which nobody cares about. Not a lot of points have changed.
No.
Everything is very, very similar to what it used to be.
And
there's
things
a couple of
got
tweaks.
Cheaper.
Yes,
That's
for the most part,
it.
things got cheaper by a couple of points. You're not going to see drastically changing in points. Things that were good before are just as good now, if not a little bit better. But one of the things worth talking about is we expected, and we knew we were going to get regiments. As soon as I find the page with the regiments, because we have regimental warlord traits, artifacts, stratagems, and doctrines.
And they each have a unique order.
Yes.
Some of which are good.
That's
true.
True.
That's not true. They're all good. Some of them are going to be relevant more often than others.
Yeah. Now, regimental doctrines, you have to have your entire detachment to be the same regiment to use them. With a few exceptions, there are...
basically, the auxilias, the non-regiment units that would fit in a regiment. So commissars, telepaths.
Correct.
Even priests and stuff like that. They can fit in your detachment, but they don't gain the benefits of the detachment, of the regiment that they're part of, because they're not part of the regiment.
Like Ogrins and even Ratlings, so they can be in your attachment, but they won't. And you will gain regimental bonuses, but not for those.
For everyone who is of the regiment, but they're part of it, but they're not named regiment. It's read your keywords. Yeah, that's it.
But other than that, it's not as restrictive as some might think. It's actually pretty good. Now we have for regiments we have the Cadians, we have Katachin, Valhallan, Vostroyan. How do you pronounce it?
I don't.
That's fair. Armageddon. Which is Steel Legion. I think most people know it as Steel Legion, but
it's the Armageddon Steel Legion.
Yeah,
it's the whole name.
Because and we have Talern and Ministorum Tempestus. So the Scions got their own regiment. So if you want to play just Scions, they get their own regimental rules. And Mordians, which I know Josh is starting a Mordian army. He really likes their abilities. I know Luca really loves the Cadians. They're also, the two of them have a couple of Astra Militarum games coming up this coming Monday as well. I want to stay tuned for. You want to go through one of them?
Are we going to go through all of them?
Yeah, let's go through all of them. People want to know about the regiments. Pick one.
Okay. So Cadians, basically, if they don't move, they reroll ones to hit in the shooting phase. And if you're infantry and you give them the order to reroll ones, they reroll everything. So, I mean, Like, look at how often you use the reroll 1s with guys who hit on 4s, and now you can reroll all your hits if you don't move. And it specifically just states reroll hit rolls of 1 in the shooting phase for a unit with this doctrine if they did not move in the previous movement phase. Doesn't say infantry. It just says a unit. Now, to reroll everything, unfortunately, it does need to be infantry, because you can't have both.
Now, without giving spoilers, we have already played our game that's in the MiniWarGaming Vault right now. One of your detachments was Cadian, and it was very much in play rerolling these ones from the vehicles. So that one is a pretty solid one. When I first saw it, it was all right. I moved on to the nicer ones, but in play, in practice, it was actually quite nice.
Well, you have to build for it, right? Like,
True.
That's the thing is you'll notice all of these have a different like flavor that they're going for, which
true.
they should because that's the point. Essentially, they all have a relevant point. Like they're all good in their own instance, but if you don't play to their strengths, then you're not really doing anything with it. Like if you play Cadians and you need a bunch of stationary stuff and you get the reroll 1s to hit and you bring Hellhounds and Flyers, you've missed the point of playing the Cadians.
Totally, yeah. But, I mean, like I said, the flavors here. We'll go on to Catechin next. Infantry with this doctrine add +1 to their strength. Now, that's totally because the models are so,
Tough.
Yeah. In addition, they can add 1 to the leadership characteristic if they're within 6 of a friendly Catechin officer. Not bad. And each time a vehicle with this doctrine fires a ranged weapon that makes a random number of attacks, heavy D6 or stuff like that, you can reroll 1 of the dice used to determine the number of attacks. That is actually amazing. Now you have.
If you guys didn't see the community announcement on the Warhammer TV page, Warhammer Community, it's one of the 2 of those. It came out on the Warhammer site. They had mentioned that the grinding advance for Leman Russes has changed. Now it's you shoot your turret twice.
Yes.
So now when you're firing D6 on a curve and you can reroll 1 of those for free every time you shoot it with your Catachan to see how many shots you're going to get.
So, like,
there you go.
When you're playing Catachan, and this is the thing, you want to play artillery and Leman Russ's battle cannons. When you roll those D6 attacks, you get to re-roll that. That's amazing. That's actually that one stuck out to me as like that seems really good. Having a better chance.
But you got to play for it. Once again, if you bring infantry spam, you're not really using it. You're getting the +1 strength and the extra little bit of leadership. But like, I mean, you could run a melee guard team with strength 4. Because the orders can kind of carry you into it. Like you can
Strength 4 is interesting. You can
get back into the fight and stuff like that, and it makes it so you can go after things up to toughness 7 without too much. Anyway, that's one way you can do it.
So far, first 2 are pretty much, artillery or stay still. Valhallan infantry with this doctrine have the number of models with that fleet. Okay, I don't really care about that. Some people might love that. Rounding up if they fail. Vehicles with this doctrine that have a damage table double the number of wounds they have remaining for the purposes of determining what their characteristics are. So basically, vehicles hit on 4s longer or get slowed down from movement even longer. Like they don't take penalties.
It takes longer for them to be penalized.
Right.
Yeah.
However, the main one for me would be the movement one, and there's also a track guard.
The hit one for sure.
The hit one?
Because the track guard negates that. So you bring the track guard so you don't have to worry about the movement issue, which is an upgrade that I don't believe was available before.
No, it's a new upgrade. It's like 10 points per vehicle, and basically their movement never gets slowed down.
Deteriorates.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Can't bring it on super heavies. Just calling it right out now. That was the very first thing I looked at.
Yeah. The Vostrians units with this doctrine can add 6 to the maximum range when firing heavy or rapid fire weapons that would normally have the range of 24 or more. So not your Scions with their hot shot. But that's actually pretty good. Rapid fire las guns.
Well, actually, it would work for your hot shot las guns.
Are they 24?
They're 24.
Nice. I thought they were 18.
No, because the regular ones are 18 goes to 9, and the hot ones are 24.
So
Who also went down in cost, by the way.
Right there. Now you have to weigh that against the Cadian one. Do you want the extra 6-inch range, or do you want to reroll ones?
Really, what you're competing with is the Stormtrooper one.
Well, yeah.
Because for both reasons, they can't even have those guns. So never mind.
Never mind.
Doesn't even matter.
So another
heavy bolters care though.
Yeah. Well, is it heavy?
It is.
Heavy. Ooh, longer heavy bolters.
42-inch range heavy bolters.
I want to do heavy bolter spam. That is interesting.
54-inch autocannons.
Oh, that Malkador Defender tank. It has like 6 heavy bolters on it. Okay, so you brought another regiment in our game. It was the Armageddon, well, still Legion. It's called Industrial Efficiency.
Yep. Basically, infantry in it can get rapid fire up to 18. So instead of shooting at 12 with your guns, because you're shooting half, you actually shoot at 18 inches for rapid fire.
I like that a lot.
It makes a big difference for a lot of things. If you choose to go the infantry route, I did not, because the other side of that coin is that their vehicles treat any AP of -1 as an AP of 0.
Heavy bolters aren't hurting your armor on your vehicles.
Heavy bolters,
auto
flamethrowers,
cannons.
auto cannons.
Yep. That is really good. Because you
Like
brought in our game.
Third of the close combat weapons.
Yeah. You brought in our game, I think 5 Sentinels.
Yeah.
Armored Sentinels, which, by the way, are toughness 6 now.
Yep.
And he brought them in his Armageddon detachment. So you have toughness 6, 6 wounds, ignoring rends of -1.
With 3 up save.
With a weapon on them, they're what, like 60 to 80 points-ish
yeah.
in the area? 3 up save.
60 or less, even.
Yeah. It's so, again, we have another regiment here that's pretty solid and can be used. Talon I like for my playstyles. It's infantry with this doctrine can advance and still shoot any weapon type except heavy weapons. When they do so, they suffer the usual penalties for hit rolls for assault. Oh, sorry, they do not suffer the usual penalties for assault weapons. I think there's a one for tank as well.
No, its vehicles don't suffer the penalty for moving and firing their heavy weapons.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, and if the Titanic vehicles advances, it treats all heavy weapons as assault weapons until the end of the turn.
It's pretty good. Now, if you want to run a bunch of Sponson Lehman Russes, you can keep them moving. Put track guards on them. They're always going to be moving far, and there are going to be no penalties for their hits.
Moving half range, so you can double tap with your main gun, and then not suffer the penalty for your side guns.
Yeah, so explain that. So that's one of the changes to the Lehman Russ.
Grinding advance.
Yeah.
It's the same rule as the one that lets you shoot your turret twice. If you move half then or less of whatever your current move stat is, so if it's deteriorating, it's deteriorating, you can shoot it twice, and you don't suffer the penalty for moving and shooting.
So just
for the turret.
Bringing that, just talking about that for a second, going back, think about cat action. So you have a Lehman Russ with just a battle cannon that moves 10 all the time with the track guards. If he moves 5 or less, he's firing that battle cannon twice, re-rolling the amount of shots.
On one of those shots. Yeah.
Not both? Well, because you fire again.
That is true, actually.
Yeah, you fire again.
Yeah.
So you're rolling both.
Because it's a second shot. It has to shoot the same target, so that's why I was thinking like, oh, you're just doing it together. Yeah. But that's true. It is 2 instances of one.
It's a second, yeah. So battle cannons, Lehman Russ, the battle cannons, the math on them, they weren't that attractive. With some of these doctrines, they're getting a lot better. Now the Scions, I think you really like.
I think Scions is the best, to be fair. Like, Scions go, if a model with this doctrine is shooting a target at half range or less, it can make an extra shot with the same weapon if at the target for each hit of a 6+ that you make, for each hit roll of a 6+ you make for that model. These extra shots themselves do not generate more.
So I know a very common tactic I've seen you do against me, actually, is having them drop in with plasma guns. Rapid firing.
4 guys in your squad carrying plasmas.
Drop in behind something, rapid fire plasma. Any 6s to hit are another shot, which is actually kind of scary. Now, we were looking to find a way, is there a way to modify an Astra Militarum unit to get +1 to hit for shooning?
Not that I could find.
We couldn't find anything, but if you can find one, comment below and let me know about it, because that would be a great combo with the Tempest of Scions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing is that one of the artifacts in here is when you issue an order, on a 4+, you can issue an order again. On the same unit, a different order of your choice. So you go, okay, my stormtroopers, they fly in out of their Valkyrie. They just have las guns, right?
Yep.
So they come in, grav shoots the same. So you can do your full move, jump out outside of 9, then walk 6 to get into rapid fire range.
Yep.
Then you go, okay, I'm going to give them first rank, second rank, so they all get an additional shot, or sorry, additional level of rapid fire.
Yep.
Then I'm going to get a 4+ to give them reroll 1s to hit. So then I'm going to shoot you with my 10 guys 40 times, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, and every 6 is another shot.
That's going to kill some stuff.
And then they're all Ren 2. Or you could do, like, instead of getting the reroll 1 to wound, you get the reroll to, or reroll to hit, you do the reroll to wound. Depends what you're going after or why and how you decide that math works for you.
I just love that you can,
plasmas.
Find a way to make the list the way you want to play it.
Or Meltas.
Or Maltas, yeah. The Mordians, they have the parade drill for their doctrine. If the base for every model in this infantry unit is with this doctrine is touching the base of at least one other model, it's basically ought to be in a shooting formation, all shoulder to shoulder.
Firing line.
Firing line. The unit has +1 leadership and can add 1 to the hit rolls when overwatching.
And their vehicles can do it with other vehicles that are within 3 inches.
So if you have another vehicle within 3, if a vehicle within 3 of another vehicle, it overwatches on 5s instead of 6s. That is pretty good.
Which ties in with one of the stratagems that's a 1 cost, where when you overwatch, you get +1 to hit. So you're hitting on 4s. So you're hitting at regular ballistic skill for most guard.
So yeah, you get Mordians hitting on 4s on Overwatch for...
With their Punishers, who are shooting 20 times.
So, okay, there's our different doctrines. Actually, before we get to the stratagems, I just want to briefly talk about a couple of the units that we've caught that changed for the better.
Valkyries got much better because now they have +1 to hit if they're in hover mode. So it negates, if you want to hover and move, you basically don't have the penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons anymore, or you can stay still and actually hit on 3s.
Yes, so having all those guns hitting on 3s, a big deal. We talked about the Sentinel, armored Sentinels being, oh, that is unprofessional. And I'm just gonna stop that and apologize. So yeah, so we talked about the Sentinels being toughness 6, working really well with the Steel Legion, the Armageddon. Hellhounds have changed. A positive change, almost a sideways change, a lateral upgrade, but the Hellhound cannon is no longer D6 shots -1, 2 damage. It is now 2d6 hits -1 damage. So the potential damage is the same, but you're overall going to get more shots.
Right.
And if you bring those with catechins, you get to reroll one of those 2d6s.
Yep.
That's a great upgrade.
But if you bring them with Armageddon, they shrug -1.
There's 2 more that I think we should talk about. One is going to be in the game that's in the vault right now. It's actually insane. It's the Ogrins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's just like a collection of abilities that you're tying in. So
well,
like,
it's all because they changed one wording on their...
The slab shield now, instead of becoming a 2-up save, is +2 to your saves.
Yes.
And so if you're the kind of person who brought Celestine as like an ally detachment, she gives a 6-up invuln to friendly Astra Militarum that are around. So now it's just +2 to saves, which means your Ogrin, who would have had a 6-up, are now a 4-up invuln. So there is never a reason to bring the Brute Shield anymore if you're going to bring Celestine.
Yep.
Unless you think she's just going to leave them, which she might. If she does that, they lose everything. But that's why she's got to stay around. You have a 4-up invuln all the time.
Yes.
You have a 2-up, 4-up. But then you can go further than that. So there's a stratagem that gives you +1 to saves when you get shot at.
Remember what it was called?
Take cover, top right.
Take cover. Yeah, it's a 1-point command point, +1 to your saves.
In your opponent's shooting phase.
Yes.
Yeah. So now all of a sudden you're a 1-up, 3-up, and the Psyker's abilities, there's 3 new ones, but the one that's stayed is +1 to saves. So now you're a 0, 2-up.
2-up invulnerable saves on these Ogrins. A lot of wounds, good toughness, 2-up invulnerable save.
Yep.
I mean, you got to stack some characters and some stratagems, but I mean, you can watch our game, which we've already played, and it's not that hard. Getting a good save.
I didn't even get all the way. You didn't
didn't
make it all the way. I failed the save. I failed the psychic check.
But I mean,
6.
it is now. People are gonna be. I know right now there's gonna be outcry in the comments. 2-up invulnerable. It's not that bad.
Yeah, it is.
Well, what I'm saying is, you roll that 1, they're gonna die. You deny mortal wounds. Remember, mortal wounds will still get through these things. So you got to focus your mortal wounds on these Ogrins. So that's a big deal. I think the Ogrins are probably the biggest change.
2 smites per ogre on average.
On average. So yeah, big blob of ogres. I think you're going to see a lot of them coming up. The other big change, we talked about the battle cannons, or sorry, the Leman Russes, but all of the Bane Blades.
Most of them have gone down in cost.
Most of them. I think all of them actually did.
Probably.
Yeah.
And all of them have gotten better guns.
Yes. So all the main guns on all the Bane Blade or Bane Blade equivalents
gained
have gotten
an extra
better.
Whatever they fire. D3, D6, whatever it is, they got another one.
So the Bane Blade cannon used to be 2d6 shots, now it's 3d6. The Bane Hammer, the Tremor Cannon was 2d6, now it's 3d6.
The Hellhammer Cannon's 3d6.
All of them. Now the Shadow Sword went from I think D6? 2d3
to 3d3.
It is 3d3, so the Shadow Sword is actually really scary. The only one that didn't gain a bunch of shots would be the Stormlord.
He didn't need any buffs.
He didn't need any buffs. He was already too good.
The other thing you have to keep in mind is that they're actually all part of regiments. So those regimental buffs we were talking about, so long as they're not taken as an auxilia detachment, because auxilias are basically an attachment from somewhere else. That's why they're auxilias.
Yes.
So if they're part of your detachment, if you were to take, for example, the what's it called when you have 3 of them?
Super Heavy Detachment.
Yeah, take the super heavy one or a Supreme Command detachment, you can have the regimental bonus on your super heavy tank. So if you want a Cadian one, if you want a Steel Legion one, if you want the Talaran one, so you can move and shoot all those heavy bolters on them without any mods, or at least...
Yeah, I didn't think about that, yeah.
That's the other one. Or if you want to take him as the Valhallan, where he's not suffering penalties, until he's at double the amount of wounds you need normally.
Oh, that's actually, yeah.
Like, all of them are basically good on these guys. Even the Catachan one, re-rolling the extra dice on how many shots are coming out of the main cannons. The Cadian one for re-rolling ones, if it's just going to be like a turret. Like, if you're bringing the Stormlord, I said Cadian filled with Cadian weapon teams, because then all the Cadian weapon teams are re-rolling ones, and then the, like, 120 shots coming out of the Stormlord are re-rolling ones.
Yeah, so the Ogrins and the Baneblades got the biggest buffs, but everything got pretty good. I don't know if the Storm or the Baneblades all needed the extra D6. They were doing just fine before.
They weren't as good as Knights. The points weren't quite right. The Knights were slightly better than they
Think
were.
so?
Yeah.
You had more shots with these. You get a lot of heavy flamers on these guys.
Yeah, but you pay a lot for it.
It's not
like
wrong.
a
You're
Knight's
not
like
wrong.
600-ish points. These guys were like 450 plus 200 for the flamethrowers. Actually, that's even lowballing it. They're more like 700 or 800.
Oh no, you're getting a good Knight for 500 or less.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
These guys weren't fighting Knights doing well. Like, they could kind of do it. Depends how the game goes for who gets first shot and what kind of guns you have.
Well, it is interesting because they hit on 5s, and there is a stratagem that allow your vehicles to hit on. Is it 2s or +2 to
It's
hit?
2s.
You can have your vehicles hit on 2s.
They can advance and still charge and hit on 2s. One of your vehicles.
Any of these super heavies has 9 attacks. They're strength 9. Use 1 command point to use a I think it's 1 command point.
It is 1.
You just use a stratagem to have your Baneblade or whatever hit on 2s, wounding on 9s.
After advancing.
-2 to the save, D3 damage.
So you drive your 10, and then you advance, then you shoot out your flamethrowers, and then you charge, and that's because you use a stratagem. Then you hit them 9 times on 2s, crush a bunch of them, and then just keep going.
So see, with that alone, you're now competing with the Knight because he has a decent amount of attacks. A Knight has this equivalent type of attack. There's 12 of them opposed to 9 if the Knight's not using his Reaper Chainsword. But it's the equivalent amount of attacks. But yeah, so the Baneblade got quite well with attacks. Okay, so those are the basic changes. We talked about the regimental stuff. More psychic powers.
One relevant psychic power is that there's now a buff for yourself, so that you get -1 to hit a friendly unit.
Yeah. There is, in Josh and Luca's game coming up on Monday, you're good. I see you checking.
I was making sure.
Okay.
It looked like my audio went down. I touched the button.
No, you're okay. There is a 1 command point stratagem for healing a 1 hull point on a vehicle, which you'd be surprising can get you out of a bracket and does quite well.
Especially when you have your Tech Marine who still hangs out with the gang.
Right?
And they don't mess up your regimental bonus. They don't get the regimental bonus, but they can join all your regiments and not affect them.
Did any of these stick out to you, any of these command points?
Yeah, cover. That was the one.
Take cover plus 1
Take cover is a great one. Crush them is a great one.
There's Grenadiers for 1 command point. Up to 10 men in the unit can throw a grenade.
If you want to just throw a whole bunch of frag grenades for some reason instead. I mean,
why not?
it's if you couldn't get close enough to rapid fire. Because first rank, second rank is just more reliable than frag grenades are. So that's how that goes. There's a few unique ones, like send in the next wave for Valhallans. If anyone remembers, what was his name?
Yeah, it starts with a C, right?
Chenkov or something like that. Yeah, bringing back whole units that get killed. Ogrins cannot be Valhallans. That was the thing I had thought of.
Volley fire for Mordian is the same thing as it's 6 to hit, it's an extra shot. There's a lot of nice, useful ones. Nothing so broken like why is that in here? They're all pretty solid.
Yeah, the one other nice one is that you can give your officer the ability to issue orders from inside of a Chimera as if he was on a Vox.
Yes.
So if you wanted to hide characters inside of a Chimera so you can get less drops, which you should do that, you can actually, they can do stuff without just being scattered.
Oh, a good one that you don't think is that great right away is Consolidate Squads for 1 command point. You can take a wounded squad. Basically, you have a squad of 10 guys with a las cannon in it. It gets shot down to the las cannon. You spin a command point, and that las cannon is now part of the squad instead. That one's actually pretty good for 1 command point. It can keep more heavy weapons in the game.
Yep.
I like all of them. More psychic powers. Relics. Okay, there's a bunch, but there's only one worth talking about.
No,
2?
There's 2.
What's the second one? You know the first one I think is worth it. What's
the first one you're thinking of is when your opponent uses a stratagem on a 5-up, you get 1 command point. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Karav's Aquila. The one I'm talking about is the Laurels of Command.
What's that one?
Whenever you issue an order on a 4+, you issue a second order to the same unit.
That's fair. That's actually pretty good.
So you go like, hey, Creed, you still issue 3 orders, right?
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
So you go, these 3 units each get 2 orders Like, that's what you're doing when you do that with those
Another
guys.
order and a 4+ to the same unit. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But the one I really like, Kurov's Aquila. Each time your opponent uses a stratagem, roll a die and a 5+, you gain a command point. That can be really trolly. But there are a handful of
We made a mistake about that. It's not per point you spent, it's per stratagem. So if you use a
per
it's
stratagem.
still only one die.
Okay, so you're gonna see me use a stratagem a couple times in our battle report that's in the vault right now, where it's a 2-point stratagem. We rolled 2 dice to get command points.
Don't worry, it didn't matter.
Warlord traits. There are specific ones. There is one worth talking about, Grand Strategist. So there's 6 generic ones, and then 1 for all the regiments. I think Grand Strategist is the one you're gonna take every time. While your Warlord is live, you can reroll. No, that's not it. Master of Command. Oh, it is that one.
Yeah. He can reroll a single roll of any type for himself, basically hit, wound, or save. But then what he can also do is every time you use a stratagem on a 5-up, you get it back.
Yes. Do you know how easy it is to make, not a battalion, what's the one where you get 9 command points?
Brigade.
Brigade. You know how easy it is to make a brigade with guard? Like
Yes,
you can
694 or something like that. And now it's cheaper because things went down.
Yep.
So
I think that's going to be the one I would use every time. But I'm not a guard player, so it's hard to say. So you guys can comment below and let me know what you guys would use with this book. We can't go over every little thing and every little detail because we'd be sitting here for all of afternoon.
The only 2 relevant ones left are the unique orders that each regiment gets for themselves.
This way.
The 2 that I would say are the most important are the, what were they saying, the Mordians, because it basically makes your entire army snipers.
That's one.
Shoot characters.
Yes, the Mordians have an order. It's called Form Firing Squad. Basically, you can order a unit to target a character normally.
Only with the rapid fire weapons. So you can't like auto-cannon them to death.
You're not going to send las cannons, auto-cannons at them, but I mean, you got a priest that's causing problems in your game. You can have them shoot them with your las guns or something.
But then you have the Laurels, so you give 2 orders. So you go, oh, hit them with rapid fire. 1st rank, 2nd rank.
Good point.
Like, that's why Laurels are on there. And then the other one is the Scions. They can reroll failed to wound when attacking vehicles or monsters.
That's pretty good.
So now, when you shoot them, remember, you're going for the double order, because your Laurel's Scion commander guy is popped in right beside them, as you deep strike with your plasmas. So you're hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, 6s are an extra shot, wounding on 4s, rerolling all to wound.
Yeah. I wish we can go
There's
over
no defense against it, by the way. That just happens. Like, they're there, that happens.
Special order, stratagem, relic. This is the thickest book yet, I think, because of all the regiments. We can't go over it all, but honestly, it's all good. And every time I go over it, I find another combination of things you can do that is pretty darn good. So all in all, I say this book is a 2 thumbs up. I know you love it. Do you have any criticisms at all for this book? I can't think of anything.
I mean, it's kind of boring.
You think so? Why do you say that?
So, all of these have like a unique little like jam, right? You look at all of these bonuses. The problem I saw with it, and I realized it when I was building my list, was that I'm just building the list I was building before the book came out.
Okay.
All I got was a few extra buffs on top of the things I was bringing anyway. And that's great. Like, don't get me wrong. I like getting more buffs. But it wasn't like, if you bring Talarn, you can't bring Lehman Russes. But your flyers get X. Like, that was what I was.
You want to see more?
I wanted to see a really extreme, like Katachan can come in.
Interesting.
But you can't bring commissars, and you can't bring like something like along those levels. Like they don't get conscripts or something like that because they don't survive on the Death World.
I'm going to agree with you on that.
Whereas Cadians, they get 2 orders because they're this good, but they don't get X or they don't get whatever. Like
you're right. I would have preferred something like that. But we're seeing Games Workshop move away from restrictions and pretty much say everybody can buy everything.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, you just asked what the criticism was.
No. What I'm saying is I didn't have
Go
any.
all the way to the bank.
You actually convinced me on that one. That one I do actually think would be kind of cool because I'll say this: I did find Astra Militarum, I already said it, very boring previously. This does add some characters, so I do like that. Not enough to make me play them, but I'm glad the Astra Militarum players who've been so loyal to armies for years can finally win some games. Have you lost a game yet in 8th edition? Like, forget the very immediate recent or the last tournament or whatever. For the most part, you've won every game with Astra Militarum. You've won every tournament you've been at, right?
Yeah, it's been a productive couple of months for prize money, if nothing else.
So like this is exactly why I brought Owen in. Like he's been winning every local tournament.
I think I'm like 28-1 right now.
That's insane. So good book, almost as good as the 7th
I'm
edition.
playing people like Steve, so take it all with a grain of salt. You've seen him play. I assume someone watched those videos. I haven't, but I'm going to assume that someone out there did.
Don't bother watching Gaming with the Cooler.
You do you, man.
All you're going to see is us bicker and fight like an old married couple. But anyways, I would say this book is almost as good as my favorite book, the Trader's Legion from 7th edition. That was an amazing book. This is almost as good.
It's a better book. This is a stronger codex, for sure, bar none. I don't think there's any stronger army list currently in the game. I said it was boring. I didn't say it was bad.
It is. I agree with you.
There's no thing that you can't handle when you play guard. And what they did was make all of your things that handle everything better.
I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to say something that might set some people off. I kind of think Astra Militarum right now are 8th edition's Eldar.
I don't know what that means.
Basically, Eldar was dominating every tournament and everything in 7th edition.
The last time Eldar were good was Eldar
like
were never
a
good.
year ago.
When did I play last? I played 5th edition. Tower, great.
All right, guys.
Were pretty good
join us
too.
in the vault right now to watch us play a 2,000-point game of a mixed regiment versus Iron Warriors, Chaos Space Marines. Check out Owen on Gaming with the Cooler. Only watch the videos that I'm in because they're just better.
Yeah, it's good.
Thanks
The rest
for
of them are
watching.
very good.
Happy wargaming.